is there hope for any of these couples? Any of them at all? Let's jump into it.
Fysiskt. Men jag tycker att det här beslutet kom för snabbt.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex and I would greatly appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. If you have hypes left, please go ahead and hype the videos if you feel so inclined. And thank you guys again for interacting with the content, even when y'all be tussling with me in the comments. I appreciate all of y'all. No hard feelings. But anyway, today we are talking about Love is Blind Sweden Season 3, episodes 3 through 6. I know. But look, thank you, first of all, for having grace with me, okay? I have really been trying to get back on track after being out of the country for 16 days, child. And it has taken more than I thought. But now we will be on track. You guys will get individual reviews for the rest of the season episodes moving forward. And thank you for having grace for these first 6 episodes. Episode 5 was like some kind of recap episode. They're doing like a after sun type thing, but I did not watch it. So anyway, let's jump in, okay? Because we're going to get out of the pods. We're going to do the full vacation. And boy, oh boy, these couples. Hey. So we began off episode 3 with Angelica and Aaron's reveal. Angelica seemed very off in this reveal to me. I was not sure how she was feeling, but remember, she was already skeptical because she was looking for someone stable, and he was basically upfront that he is not stable like that. In either case, though, he does propose again. He pulls out the ring. She's like, I really thought that she was about to be like, I can't do this. But hold up now, because we gonna get some of that later. Anyway, but she says that the reason why she is not talking is mostly because she wants to just feel everything that is going on. All in all, she seems to be pretty happy. They both seem to be pretty happy with one another at this moment. I don't know. The reveal kind of threw me off. Aaron does compliment her a lot, though, and he even says that he is absolutely in love with her, but he does not know if he deserves her love. And I was like, oh, not that making me feel a little bit sad for him. I was like, okay, Aaron, don't be so hard on yourself, because I'll need a little more information about why he's in the situation he is in. But that made me feel real sad, because no matter what, you deserve love, even if the person that you chose is not the right fit for you. Angelica says that she's happy with him. She wants to be with him, kind of the canned phrases, but that's really all she gives for now. And I was like, we shall see. We shall see. Lars Erik is still between Danette and Ronja, and back in the pods, Oscar, he is hyping up Lars, saying she's an African beauty, she's one of a kind, go for her. I'm like, nah, you are my African queen. Anyway, Lars and Danette.
Mig trygg runt en kvinna på ett bra tag.
So Danette is essentially professing her love for Lars, saying that Lars has never made her feel this way before. He awakens feelings in her that she has never had. She loves that they have a shared faith. They both want to raise their kids to be great people and model after how the Bible says. All of these different things. But it's clear that Lars is hesitant. Very hesitant. And I thought it was interesting that they said she was an African beauty, because I was like, how do y'all know? So I guess at some point she revealed that she is black. I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but I'm just saying he definitely seemed hesitant, which was strange because Danette, at least on paper, seemed to be the one that aligned a little bit more with him than Ronja. Danette is asking Lars, what is it that you need to feel safe? What is it that you need to feel good? And he claims he already feels that way. She is cheesing from ear to ear. She's just so happy, but you could definitely tell that Lars, I think he likes things about her, but there's definitely something that is holding him back and gravitating him to Ronja, which I didn't really understand. Danette goes skipping back to the pods, though, and she is telling all the girls that it went well with Lars Erik, and she says his name, and she's like, oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Oh, no. And then they realize that Ronja is also dating Lars Erik, and Ronja now is like, oh my goodness, is everything fake? I thought he and I had chemistry, and I'm like, why? Nothing about y'all's lifestyles is similar. And we haven't heard y'all talk about hobbies. Rania and Lars, they have their date and he can't really put his foot on it, but he says that he just feels great with Rania, that they can laugh, they can chill, they can be vulnerable. They have all of these different things in common.
Hur jag än skulle uttrycka mig.
Och det är så himla tacksam att du liksom, ja men att du har delat med det.
They see life the same way, they have shared interests, and I'm like, are you being serious? No, you don't. I don't even feel bad for how it went after the pods because no, you guys literally didn't. Like, you guys are both sitting here playing like you haven't disagreed on almost everything from the beginning. And he tells her that she makes him feel safe. I'm like, well, color me. Did you not just tell that to Danette 2 seconds ago? Everything is a hop, skip, and a jump. They just feel so happy. But Lars says he is scared because he's never really made the right decision before. So now he's not sure if God is guiding him to her or if this is just a test. And I'm like, God ain't telling you nothing. God did not tell you to come on this reality show. He did not. But he goes back to the lounge with the guys and he's telling Aaron that, look, things just feel way more natural with Rania. And I'm like, really? How? This is so confusing to me. What am I missing? But in either case, he promised that he was going to make a decision by tomorrow. He just really needs to talk to God more because he's not sure what the message he's being given here is. Back in the pods, Hannah is talking to the girls about how Ludwig got both girls, her and Camilla, a gift. But Ludwig is talking about how he really likes Hannah because Hannah validates him and makes him feel liked and da-da-da, me, and how she makes me feel. Ludwig, I got a lot for you in the next couple of episodes, my friend. So Hannah and Ludwig, they have their date, and off rip, Hannah's like, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty weird that you gave both of us a gift.
Jag har i alla fall uppfattat det som att, ja, men att du verkligen liksom tycker om mig och att det, liksom, det vi har liksom blivit något speciellt.
You've been validating both of us the same way. I just feel like I thought we were developing something really special, but it seems very off that it seems like you're telling the same thing to someone else. Ludwig's like, what was I dishonest about, though? I was very upfront with you that I was doing the process, that there were multiple people that I wanted to be with. So what do you mean? He's like, it's not the fact that you're dating other people, it's the fact that you got us both gifts. Ludwig is all like, oh my God, I didn't think this was going to be a big deal. I didn't think it was going to be a lot. I didn't think it was going to matter. And I'm like, it does though, because you were pushing both girls to validate you as they talked about previously. You wanted both girls to tell you that they are the one, while meanwhile, you're still squarely in the middle. You want them to make a decision, but you don't want to have to make a decision yourself. In either case, they keep on talking it out, and by the end, they do seem like they are fine. But Ludwig's like, dang, I just didn't realize that a simple gift was going to make both of these girls go so crazy, essentially. Then Ludwig has another date with Camilla, and he's like, oh God. Even though that one went well with Hannah, I know Camilla's probably going to have something to say too. Gets into the date with Camilla, and Camilla's like, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to have a problem with the whole you giving both of us gifts. To me, I'm not going to make problems out of something that I don't find to be a problem.
Ärlig med dig att jag tycker att det är läskigt att jag känner mycket för dig.
Men det
är ju en komplimang till dig, även om mitt tonläge inte låter.
This right here, in my opinion, was the solidifier for him to pick her. Because he was like, oh, you're all on me and you don't even care about anything and you don't have anything. Oh, you're the one. Ludwig, don't like Ludwig. Ludwig gives me very big red flags. But in either case, they both agree that they are happy. For Camilla, she is very scared because she does have feelings for him. And this is very new to her because remember, she's never had a boyfriend. Joanna and Daniel, they have a date. She shares her favorite Australian wines with him. He is so thrilled because he wants to spend at least 3 months a year in Australia.
Du inte ens hämta grejerna i Sydney. Nu får hunden och katten klara sig själva med lite råttor och lite vilda kalkoner.
Då jäklar!
So she's hoping that that can fit in the puzzle for her. For Joanna, she's not really used to this kind of dynamic, but she enjoys their dates because she feels like she can be herself. In either case, she's only used to toxic relationships, so she doesn't really know if this is good or healthy, but presumes that it is. Now, for Daniel, after this date, he says, as well as it's gone with Joanna, that does not mean that Ellen is not still an option. And he even proceeds to say that Ellen is still his number one. Okay. Daniel and Ellen. So he asks her, hey, what is the most important thing when it comes to making a decision of who you actually want to be with? She's like, well, right now I've just kind of been relying on feelings, relying on how my heart feels, but I do feel like our dates have gotten better and better.
Och alltså jag tycker våra dejter har också blivit, den liksom stegrat på något sätt.
She does say that she feels like their dates are very, I guess, diverse, where sometimes there's a lot of depth, other times there's not. And to me, I was like, is that a compliment? Because it didn't sound like a compliment, but he was like, no, I love that though, because your voice sounds like a bird singing. I could just listen to it all day. And then he gives the same exact speech that he gave to, oh girl, what's her name? Joanna. He says, look, by the way, you know, when I'm with you, the caterpillar in my stomach turns to a butterfly. And I'm like, oh, run. This man already wrote down his catchphrases. Ellen does feel like the journey with Daniel has been nice, but her journey with Fabian is completely different. Ellen and Fabian. So he drew her a little picture and then they get into a conversation about their tattoo.
Jag har flera tatueringar, men det får du se när vi ses.
Ellen says that she had a reggae phase when she was younger, so she has some reggae lyrics on her body. He says he has multiple tattoos, but she will have to wait and see what they actually look like. I don't know, just flirty banter between the two of them. But coming out, Fabian is hyped up because he thinks that she is going to probably choose him. Meanwhile, Lars-Erik makes an announcement that he has finally made a decision. And I already knew what the decision was going to be. I already knew it. So Lars-Erik and Annette.
Jag har valt att inte fortsätta med dig. Det är bara någonting som den andra personen får att klicka lite.
Essentially, he says he has enjoyed their dates and he's been praying to God for clarity on what to do and he's gotten no signs. It's almost as if he ain't tell you to come here. Anyway, for him, he feels like though things have been going well, he just has a gut feeling about his other connection and unfortunately, he is cutting things off. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. What about you and Rania was similar? You had more in common with Danette. But in either case, Danette's like, okay, well, thanks. And then they just end it right then and there. Danette goes back to the pods and she's like, he dumped me. And Rania is so happy that she was chosen. And I'm like, just you wait. Just for you to get out the pods and not even like that man. Not even a little bit. But you were so happy to be chosen though, back in those pods. Okay. Lars and Rania. So he says that his last connection gave him a lot of clarity on the fact that he wanted to move forward with her. He proposes and she says yes.
Som lyckats riva ner varenda mur som jag byggt upp runt mitt hjärta.
Lars is over the moon. He is back in the pods. He is praying, thanking God for blessing him with a beautiful wife. It just is weird. It just, listen, I gotta say it. It's giving that he was going to come here no matter what, and he wanted to pick whatever wife he could. And I feel like, well, again, we'll see more of it in a minute, but it just gives that Lars had in his head, I need a wife, I need a wife, I need a wife. You know, I'm a Christian, I'm a devout Christian. Part of being a devout Christian is being a husband and being a father. I need a wife. It wasn't giving authentic. It wasn't giving authentic because you did not pick the person that you had the most authentic connection with. Unless there's something I missed. Now it's Ludwig's turn to make a choice. So he feels that Camilla is way more easygoing. She's a lot more fun. And that what's her name? Hannah, she is a little bit more emotional, aka Camilla is obsessed with me, does not hold my feet to the fire on anything, while Hannah is actually going to hold me accountable. Anyways, he has his date with Hannah, he breaks it off. He says that she's great, it's been fun, but he just feels a deeper connection for his other connection, Camilla and Ludwig. Going into this, you could tell that Camilla thought that Ludwig was gonna break it off with her.
Jag känner mer för dig.
Va? På riktigt?
Ja.
But he's like, oh no, I have stronger feelings for you and I would like to continue with you. And she's like, what? Oh my God, are you serious? Anyways, he proposes and she says yes. Lars and Rania have their reveal, but beforehand, Lars lets us know that he has written Rania a note that he must give her before they progress even further. He says it's been a while since he's kissed somebody, but this is going to be the last person that he kisses. So they get into their reveal. They are very happy, but he's like, wait, before I kiss you, I have a note for you. So she reads the note and it basically says, you are amazing. I love you.
Många år sedan. Men du kommer vara den sista kvinnan jag kysser i mitt liv. Och en sak.
He does kiss her and he's super excited to spend the rest of their lives together. He might be so clingy because he's so excited to be with someone. And again, woo! It's giving any woman I got, I had everything ready and available already. It's giving the same energy as Brittany from last season already having bought a wedding dress before the show. Lars is giving that same energy. And I think Rania picked up on that. Rania, you're also a fool because you know this man is a devout Christian looking to live a certain life that you know that you do not live. So after the reveal, Lars is so excited, but Rania is not happy. She doesn't doubt that it's love, but you could definitely tell that something does not feel right for her. And as I feel I've picked up, I feel like Rania has also picked up, it was giving that Lars was going to go all in for anybody without even knowing them that well. So now it's Ellen's turn to choose. First, she has her date with Daniel. He shows up real late. They try to make it seem like, oh, he's not going to show up. And then they do the exact same thing with her next date. Okay. Anyway, basically, she says that she's had a great time, but it's just the time to break it off. It's just not right. Daniel tries to claim that he had the exact same feelings. And I'm like, really? But just yesterday, you said she was your top. Now, all of a sudden, you had the exact same feelings. He claims when he closes his eyes, all he thinks about is Joanna, and he never even thought of Ellen. I'm like, you are so full of it. So full of it. So Daniel goes back to the men's pods and he's like, you know, it didn't really work out and everything. He's talking to Fabian and he tries to make it seem like he was the one that said no. And Fabian's like, wait, so you said no to her? And he's like, no. But like, we both just decided that it's not the path that we want to go down. Okay. Fabian and Ellen. So they pull the same exact editing trick that he came to the date late. Ellen basically professes that she picks him, and then he does propose to her, and she says yes. Ludwig and Camilla have their reveal. Camilla seems very nervous.
Min puls.
Och jag känner mitt hjärta bara hoppar ut.
Så shit. Sån hans.
Camilla... To me, Camilla gives a real example of someone who is very avoidant, very nervous, even when she's actually interested. It's pretty awkward. And you could even tell when the thing closes, she makes a face. She's like, whoo. So Camilla does actually let us know in the confessional that her tendencies to run are coming out right now, but she really wants to push herself through those tough emotions. She's made her entire identity being a single girl, but now her pulse is racing because she's engaged. My question is, Camilla, why are you here? Why are you here? If your whole thing is that you don't like being in relationships, you've been single, you want to, why would you think you should go from that to getting married? Child, I don't get it. Daniel and Joanna. So they talk about kids and he's basically like, look, I have no problem waiting to have kids. I'm like, sir, you are 43? What do you mean? What do you mean, wait? But anyway, she's like, well, as a woman, we have a body clock and mine is a little bit faster than everyone else's. She explains that she has endometriosis and that she may need to have IVF in order to have a child naturally. So she's like, if that does not work out, would you be okay with having a child through other means? I assume surrogacy or adoption. He's like, look, honestly, I did not come here to have a baby with you. That's not my main thing. If we want to be parents, we're going to be parents. I just hate the way he never answers the questions directly. He's always giving some kind of like roundabout, sorta, kinda answer. But he does propose and she says yes. We end off with Fabian and Ellen's reveal. And I thought Ellen was initially excited. I thought they were both initially excited but nervous. But then it starts to get weird. As soon as he gets down on one knee to propose, she's like, Episode 4. He's on one knee. She starts crying because it's so beautiful. And I'm thinking, oh, okay, nervous probably. But then it's like she's still like, I can't do it.
Att jag var det. Och jag önskar verkligen att jag kunde vara det, men jag tror inte att jag är det. Det har gått lite för fort.
And I was like, not her rejecting the proposal. That's a first for the show, no? That was a first for the show. She rejected the proposal. She was like, look, I appreciate all of this. I think it is beautiful, but I am not ready. Do you think it's because she saw how he looked? Yes or no? I'm actually very confused. I don't know what happened. I only imagine it had to be the way he looked that freaked her out. Yes? But in either case, she says no to the proposal. She claims this all happened so fast and that when he said, I love you, she could not say it back. Fabian goes back and he starts sobbing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is crazy. What has gotten into Ellen? We need to get a little bit more. Daniel and Joanna, they have their reveal. They both seem happy. They both seem impressed. I noticed that either she's tall or he's short because they were about the same height. That's all I got out of that reveal. And now they are all heading to Greece for the honeymoon. So Daniel and Joanna, it is Joanna's birthday today. So he's all excited to call her birthday girl. She is feeling good. He claims that they know a lot about each other already. So the physical is coming next. Soon we will learn that Joanna does not agree. Lars and Rania. Lars is over the moon. He feels like it's a great day to be alive. He could not be happier to be married. I mean, this man, it seems like all of his dreams have come true. Meanwhile, Rania is a little more, in my opinion, down to earth about things where she's like, I don't know. I just feel a bit more nervous because of this note. In the real world, she would have ran from this relationship because she has been in a relationship where she was love bombed. The person love bombed her and then a few months later told her, I'm not really feeling it anymore. Now, don't get me wrong. I think it is too early to tell if Lars is a love bomber, but I do think that Rania is picking up something that, again, I think is very valid in that it does give that Lars was ready to lay it on thick with whoever would take the bait for him. So I don't know. While I do think that Rania also probably has her own set of things, and I think I would imagine attraction is also coming into play because we do see her talk very fondly about Aaron. I just do think that there is definitely something about Lars that gives a pause, and I could see that. Rania does express, though, that she wants to figure out a way that they can kind of slow down in their relationship a little bit without creating distance. Lars says he's here for one thing and one thing only. Leave while you can, Rania. Leave while you can. And I'm still be on you though, Rania. Don't think I'm still not going to be on you because you were very happy to be chosen in them pods. And that's what honestly lends credence to me thinking that you're not that physically attracted to that man. Because when you were in the pods, you were very, very happy to be chosen. You were very, very happy to pick this man despite knowing that you and your lifestyles do not fit at all. Ibe and Aniela, they talk, and basically they're talking about the first meeting and how it was intense. He's asking her if she thought at all about how he looks, or like is shocked that he's bald, basically. And she's like, oh no, I didn't really have any thoughts in my head, but I think you're beautiful. I mean, he a good looking man, baby. I don't really like bald men myself that much either, but he good looking. Okay. Aaron and Angelica talk, and she's asking what would be an automatic no for him. He says inconsistency. He's like, look, if you want to go one way, stick with it. If you want to go another way, stick with it. And she's like, but what if I'm like PMSing or I can't think of things? And he's like, don't worry about all that. Just be consistent, basically. But they do point out how tall he is. They make a lot of innuendos about how tall he is and about how long things are. Okay. Ludwig and Camilla. So Camilla basically explains that even though they are engaged, it's still going to take a while for her to feel comfortable in his presence.
Men jag behöver nog mest tid just nu. Att vi känner oss trygga I varandras fysiska sällskap.
That there still needs to be time to build up the connection. So Ludwig is like, oh, how would you feel if I came up and gave you a hug? And she's like, I wouldn't be uncomfortable. It's just not really for me. I'm not really like a lovey-dovey PDA type of person. She says that couples that are very lovey-dovey are annoying, but who knows? They are a very new couple, so maybe things would be different for her. Listen, love languages, touch, PDA levels, all of those things are areas where you can be compatible or incompatible. So I don't want to frame that Camilla's a horrible person because she says, oh, I'm not a big physical touch person. But it's very clear that Ludwig is. And again, this is why for Ludwig, I'm going to come on him because you chose Camilla because you thought she was the easy pick. Because she didn't come at you. Because she was obsessed with you. Because she, quote unquote, validated you and made you feel so good about yourself. She didn't ask you any questions when it came to the gift. But in the same way, I also think that Camilla is not compatible with him. And also Camilla's never been in a relationship, so I feel like she's kind of wading through new waters, and it's like, I'm learning as I go the kind of person I am. It just seems like incompatibility off rip. Daniel and Joanna, they talk about gifts. He gave her a few gifts for her birthday, and he says it feels more natural to give gifts now that they are in person. Joanna gives him a key to her house, and then it has a picture of her cat on it. So they start to talk about the cat. Angelica and Aaron still talk. She felt very safe. He says that the proposal and all of this is one of the best moments of his life. Aaron seems very nice. I just wonder what his situation is because he was so upfront about the fact that he is unstable. I just want to know what that means. Ludwig reads Camilla a letter that he wrote her, presumably in the pods.
Camilla's like, please stop it.
And then we see Ibe and Aniela cuddling. They're having a great time. Last off, Lars Erik and Ronja. So he is looking forward to settling in more and getting to know each other more. And then he starts to go in about how much he loves
her. He loves her with his whole heart. He's so grateful.
And again, I kind of get where Ronja's coming from because I get it, but it just seems like a lot. And I feel like constantly the only thing he's really saying is, I love you. You are my wife. God brought you to me. I'm so grateful for you. And it's like, what else? Can we have conversations about anything else except how much you love me? It does come off overbearing. I'm not going to use the term love bombing because I don't really know. We would need to see more, but I just feel like he comes off very, very overbearing where it's like, you already told me 11 times how much you love me. And again, that could just be an incompatibility of the two of them. Some people really like that, but I don't know. I think I'm more like Ronja where I'm like, okay, I got you. I heard that you're in love with me. What else can we talk about? Next morning, everyone is reflecting on how they slept. Aaron is talking about how Angelica is always yapping. Daniel says it was cool, even though they had to share one blanket. Then we get over to Lars, Erik, and Ronja.
Väldigt attraktiv.
Tack så mycket.
Får jag ge dig en puss?
So Lars-Erik is going in yet again about how he has been praying to God for a beautiful woman, and he has finally been given one. She is the most beautiful woman that he has ever seen. He finds her so attractive, and he's like, I hope you feel the same way about me. And Rania admits, yes, he is good looking, but she's not sure if this will be true love or just a best friendship. And she's trying to figure out how they can get there. So we have our first couples shindig. And Yella is pretty shocked about Ludwig and Camilla because she always got the impression that Camilla liked older men. Also, Rania is smitten with how tall, dark, and handsome Aaron is. And I was like, there it is, girly. There it is. Lars-Erik ain't doing it for you, is he? Lars is talking with a group of people, a lot of the girls, and he's saying like he and Rania are awesome. They're great. They're doing so well, you know. Even if they do have an issue, they brush it off.
Nej, alltså om vi har det så skojar vi bort det mesta. Typ såhär, det känns skitbra. Alltså vi är ju typ kopior på varandra.
Whereas Rania, on the other hand, is ogling over how safe Angelica must feel being with Aaron because he's so tall. She must just feel so good about everything. Woo, how different pages these two are on. Ludwig is also talking with who is he talking with? Aaron as well, talking about how he needs to tell Camilla that they need to step it up basically on the physical. And I'm like, it always gives me an icky feeling when a guy's like, I want more physical from a woman. I want more physical from a woman. Like, relax. Y'all literally just got out of the pods. Now, again, do not get me wrong. Do I think that Camilla is scared? She probably is. She's never been in a relationship, but give it a little bit, right? Give it a minute. He is a bit concerned because she's never had a boyfriend, and he's not sure if she's just uncomfortable with things or she's never done anything before, so that's why she's uncomfortable.
Jag ska faktiskt ta upp med henne och fråga lite grann kring det här fysiska.
Meanwhile, Lars is telling Angelica that he feels like Rania is the female version of him. Like, this man is actually in La La Land, and that's why, I'm sorry, I could see the fear. Because this man, he is so far in what his dreams are of finding a wife that he is saying that he and Rania are the same. He does share with Angelica, though, that he is a little bit sad that Rania doesn't really want to talk to him at the shindig, that they're not talking right now. And Angelica's like, oh, do you feel like maybe you're a bit further along emotionally than she is? He's like, no, I feel like we could have a great future. I feel like the two of us could have a great future. That's not the answer to the question. Lars reminds me of some people I know that are hyper religious to the point of almost delusion, where it's like, people are trying to just be honest and ask questions, and they're so afraid to be real because it's like, no. I don't want to speak that into existence. It's like, Lars, come to Earth. Aaron and Rania. So Rania is giggling ear to ear, child. She is so happy to be talking to Aaron, but she's talking about how she thinks that he and Angelica fit so well. They are perfect for each other. And Aaron's like, yeah, thanks. What about you though? How are things going with Lars? So she says that things have been a bit difficult right now.
Jag ska vara helt ärlig mot dig. Det kändes igår jättejobbigt. Han skrev på en lapp, du är en fantastisk kvinna.
Because she has been with men that have love bombed her before. She talks about the note and how all of that felt. And then the fact that he's gone so heavy on being like, my wife, you're my wife, you're my wife. For her, she says she felt very, very safe with him in the pods. And Aaron tries to explain, well, look, his love language, though, is showing love through gestures, through words, through actions. So maybe keep that in mind. Lars does come over to kind of interrupt, and you could tell Rania is irritated. She's like, okay, don't need you now. See ya. I'm like, girl, you know that you are scared and or repulsed by this man. And that's your choice, but like, end it here. Right? We don't need to get to the pods and then hear the whole thing about how you're never home and he's sitting there crying because you're never home. Save us and save him the time. Ludwig is talking to Lars, and he is telling Ludwig that, again, he feels like Rania is the female version of him.
Jag går också och pratar med allt och alla. Det är så här.
Men det är
vi behöver inte.
Det är ashärligt.
Ja, vi behöver inte ge varandra uppmärksamhet hela tiden. Så.
Nej. precis.
He says it's great because they don't always have to be all over each other, that they can be at this shindig and they can talk to a bunch of other people, but then know that when they give each other the attention later on, that they get exactly what they need. I'm like, Lars, you don't even believe that. You're trying to convince yourself of that. You don't believe that. And it's very clear that everyone that both of them is talking to is picking up like, y'all are really not talking like that. Joanna, Aniela, and Camilla are talking, and Joanna is basically expressing that she feels like she and Daniel are in two different spots with the physical. She doesn't want to give up too much too fast. Post-shindig, Lars and Rania. Rania is talking about how she had a lot of fun meeting everybody. It was great to see all of the couples together. She feels like a lot of the couples have great connections, and she brings up Aaron and Angelica. And Lars is like, yeah, but I feel like they all have different connections in sort of like different ways. And she's like, meaning what? Have you seen the two of them? They seem super happy. Lars then points out that she spent a lot of time talking with Aaron. He goes on to say that he was pretty upset that they did not speak at all at the shindig, and that he wanted to feel like he could come over and give her a kiss without feeling like he was interrupting the conversations. Rania, girl, you know you don't like him. You don't like him. Again, free him. Free him and let him go find some other woman who is ready to be his wife, his wife, his wife. Because you know it is not you. Ludwig and Camilla. So Ludwig is basically telling Camilla, look, I feel like everybody needs different things, feels validation in certain ways, and needs certain things to feel good. And I need the physical from you.
Kan få, om du förstår mig rätt, någon liksom typ av...
Okay, the physical makes me feel good. It is incredibly important. So I'm gonna need you to step it up and give me a little bit more. He claims it does not need to be over the top, but it is very important for him. Again, y'all work at different paces. Y'all work at different paces, and that's what you need to understand. Because at the, pressuring her into giving you more physical is not the way to go. It's not it. And if you were willing to have more conversations with her in the pods, instead of just choosing her because you thought she was going to be the person that was the most obsessed with you, then you would maybe know. Because she says, I work at a pretty slow pace. That's just how I am. But I think as time goes on, things will evolve. She admits that she feels a lot of pressure to be in love immediately in this process. Ludwig's response is, well, do you feel like you hold back, even if unintentionally? And she's like, I mean, yeah, I probably do. Now, Camilla, if you know you are a slow burn, a slow mover, you probably shouldn't have came to this process. Okay? Look, two wrongs are making a wrong here. Next morning, Daniel and Joanna. So Daniel goes in for a kiss and Joanna makes a little joke like, don't mess up my lip gloss, don't mess up my lip gloss. But Joanna is not really feeling the best. She feels like yesterday she and Daniel did not spend a lot of time during the shindig, and she does feel a bit disconnected from him right now.
Simmar och jag vill typ ta mig hit. Men jag vet inte hur jag ska komma dit.
She shares that she feels like the conversation with Daniel is very surface level and that she wants to see deeper communication between the two of them. What did I say in the pods? This man loves to talk, and people like him that I've seen, they love to talk. They love to talk when it's about themselves, their opinions, their feelings, their interests, but they don't care about the other person. They don't ask you any questions. And if they can't dominate the conversation, then they don't want to talk at all. Joanna is unsure of if Daniel even has real interest in her because every time she'll try to talk, they'll try to have conversation, it's always very surface level. He'll just be like, yeah, okay, whenever she tries to initiate conversation, instead of asking deeper questions and contributing to the conversation, maybe without flipping it back to himself. For her, feeling seen and feeling heard is very important in a relationship. And when she gets that, she's very lovey-dovey, very affectionate. But right now, they're not even cuddling. And I feel that. I totally get that because that's also one of my big things. I need to feel heard in a relationship. If I feel like I'm just kind of here to be your sounding board and to listen to you and to make you feel good and basically you just love to hear yourself talk, no, I don't feel interested in lovey-dovey either. So I get where she's coming from. Ibe and Aniela, they have a small conversation. They're talking about families. He says that his mom is probably going to think she's Serbian or something like that. She says that nobody ever believes that she's Swedish when they meet her. Then she makes another innuendo about how this piece of fruit is real long and it's real long. And he's like, that's the second time I heard you say that. And like, ciao. All right. Ludwig and Camilla. So he is telling Camilla again that he's thought about the physical and it's really important to him. I'm like, it's been, what, 12 hours? Give her a chance. Give her a chance. She feels that it is not good, or he feels that it is not good when the physical is not right. Camilla's like, but I have been fairly physical with you when I've had the time, like implying they hug, they kiss a little bit, stuff like that, but it's clearly just not where he wants it to be. He understands that it is hard for her, but it is very important. Lars and Rania, they seem to be mid-fight. He's basically like, look, I did not mean to offend you when I said, hey, you can come up and give me a kiss sometimes. He expresses that he was not trying to change her, and he understands that this was conveyed in the wrong way. She's like, yeah, I'm a very social person. Again, I guess we're talking about the shindig and how he wants more PDA. And again, as I've said, fine. Some people are very incompatible with the way that they show love and the way they want to be shown love. But if y'all actually had conversations in the pods instead of just picking people that you think you have locked in the bag, the person that you think will give you the least resistance and likes you the most, maybe you would realize that you guys have those incompatibilities. He claims that what he said had less to do with her behavior and more to do with his insecurities.
Men när alla de här orden kom väldigt snabbt och du var där borta och jag var här, då kom den stressen.
He said in the past that he was an outsider, da-da-da-da-da. And again, Lars does strike me as somebody who needs a lot when it comes to a lot. He wants you to be all over him all the time, okay? But again, for Rania, there is something holding her back, something that I can also feel as a woman. So, girl, just go. Just leave. Rania does explain, though, that she was love bombed in the past. She's been in these relationships that have moved very fast just for it to all fizzle out. So she's a little bit worried about this as well. She admits that maybe she is holding back just a little bit due to her past, but overall, she does want to still continue to see where they can be. Again, Lars, oh, that's okay. It's okay. It's cool. Everything's good. I just want to figure out our weaknesses so we can work together. I don't know. I just feel like if I was hearing a lot of this stuff and I knew the kind of person I was, I wouldn't be so agreeable. I would be like, well, dang, maybe I need to think about if this is right for me. Lars is very agreeable in a way that doesn't feel authentic. Like, oh, okay, I want to work with you, honey. It feels more like, okay, I'm just going to push that off to the side and I'm going to keep being my overbearing self. And eventually she's just going to have to conform to it. I don't know. Maybe I'm slicing it. Maybe I'm doing too much, but I just feel really weird about Lars. I do. Joanna and Daniel, they are having a conversation over lunch. They start to talk about the tzatziki, and she says that the small curry reminds her of when she traveled to Sri Lanka. He doesn't really say anything. You could tell that it's very, very tense. Daniel's doing a lot of talking while she's not really saying much. And I thought, oh, maybe she's upset because he talks so much about himself and the conversations are surface of all the stuff she's expressed. But we actually find out when he steps away for a bit, she calls the producer over and she's like, oh, hey, listen, he told me off camera that he wants to quit. He doesn't think that he could do this anymore. So I feel really annoyed now coming here on camera, pretending like everything's okay when he said he doesn't want to do this.
Daniel mig ner och bara, Johanna, jag vet inte om jag kan längre. Jag vill nog hoppa av. Hoppa av.
Not him saying he didn't want to be with her anymore. Episode 6. So she's kind of asking him when he comes back to the table, how you doing? How's it going? And then she brings up the conversation. She's like, let's cut to the chase. I'm not doing this little fake stuff. So he says that the reason that he felt that way is because he has a lot of thoughts whenever she's like, oh, I don't want you to kiss me because of the lip gloss. I don't want you to touch me right now because you're going to mess up the makeup, you know, all those little things. He's like, In his head, he's wondering, does she even like me? Does she even want to touch me? He feels like it's a lot because he's wondering, like, well, dang, I can't kiss you even when you got lip gloss on. Like, that just feels like a lot for me. She's like, I'm kidding. It's a joke. I'm like poking at you like, oh, don't touch me. Don't mess up my lip gloss. But I don't mean it for real. Like, you could obviously kiss me. It just feels like with this group, they had very little conversations because I feel like this group, they don't even understand baseline banter between each other. And I get it. There's still a lot to learn outside of the pods, but we didn't see the conversation, so I can only speak on what I could, but it's just like, you didn't get that she was kidding? She brings up her issue, which is that she feels like they have very different communication styles. She will try to talk to him, have conversations, even throw out little things to see if he will get deeper. And the only thing that he wants to talk about is the weather. She's like, straight up, I have deeper conversations with my neighbor. You know, I don't need to talk about the weather. All she wants to know is that he is listening. He does apologize to her, and he says he's really not used to talking about feelings in that way, but he does reassure her that he is all in. No, Joanna, listen to your intuition. I need everybody here to listen to their intuition. Because again, you're picking up what I picked up, episode 2, that this man, big ego, loves to talk about himself, does not care to talk about you. Does not care to have conversations if you are the one initiating them. He wants to do all the talking. And to the person in my comments who said, oh, he has Asperger's, tell me where he said that. Because I watched all of these episodes and I never heard him say that. Stop putting that stuff in my comments. Y'all did the same thing with Edmund, season 9 of US. Stop it. Listen, nothing I've said about him has anything to do with his diagnosis, if the diagnosis even exists. And until I see proof of it, I'm not going to change my tune because you put something in my comments. Okay, let's keep going. Lars and Rania. So Lars feels like he's typically pretty good at reading people, but he is having a lot of trouble with Rania right now. Though it did feel good on Rania's end to have a day where they weren't having such deep conversations, to just have a lighter, a freer day. Lars says though, look, there are things you've said that make me question where you're at.
Du blev ledsen när jag sa att om inte vi kom hem till Stockholm och går en hel vecka och jag fortfarande inte kan känna någonting starkt, då vill inte jag fortsätta.
And then he shares that Rania basically told him that if in 7 days, when they get back to Stockholm, she does not have feelings, it is over. I'm like, Lars, you should have broke up with her right then and there. Rania is playing in your face, baby. Okay, she like her some Aaron. She like Aaron. She does not like you. She doesn't like you. Rania, you're doing a lot, girl. Because I'm with you. I feel what you feel about Lars, but stop playing in the man's face. Stop playing in the man's face. Talk about some if in 7 days. Rania, if you need to do all that, girl, the feelings aren't there. They're not there. There's not a spark. I'm not saying you need to be madly in love with the person the minute you meet them, but even in the earliest days of a relationship, you'll feel some kind of spark. You'll feel some kind of twitch in your stomach if there's something there. If there isn't anything there, there's nothing there. And that's okay, but just be honest. Don't piss me off, Rania, because I'm on your side, but you're doing a lot with talking about some in 7 days. Girl, what? He's just very unsure of what the purpose is because then he's putting all this effort in basically and then they'll just be friends. He's a little bit scared of how to move forward because he does have strong feelings for her. But again, what would be the point of getting to know each other on this deeper level just for her to say that they are friends? He ate that. He was right about that.
Förlåt.
Det här tycker jag också är jobbigt. Kan jag någon gång få prata till punkt innan du bara hoppar in och säger massa saker?
Rania starts trying to explain something and then Lars talks over her. And one thing I've noticed about most of these men is they talk right over the women. They talk right over the women. I feel like Daniel and Lars are the two biggest offenders of that. But in either case, Rania's like, look, for me, I feel like sometimes when I'm talking, you'll say stuff like, oh, you're so cute. You're so adorable. That stuff pisses me off too. I hate that. Do not deflect on something like, you're so cute. Oh, you're so cute when you're mad, baby. And she feels like he'll kind of do that to deflect off the conversation a little bit and doesn't really mean it. And again, Lars being his agreeable self, well, I just want to see you happy again. I just want to see you great. They have a very awkward silence, and Rania points it out, like, he points out, this is the longest awkward silence we've had, and Rania's like, nice, right? I'm like, ooh, guys, it ain't working. It ain't working for you. Ibe and Aniela, they are having a conversation, and then they talk. So basically, Aniela's like, well, I feel like we have some differences with certain things, like you didn't really hang up your towel this morning, you know. He asks her, like, do you feel any pressure with anything? And Aniela's like, well, I feel like things are pretty great between us. I feel really happy about everything. He's like, really? Because I feel like we have some kind of differing opinions on things.
Tycker att vi har mycket olika åsikter.
Inte jätte. Men som sagt...
And she's like, meaning? He's like, I don't know. I just feel like the way we operate is a little bit different. So basically, he's like, you're more outspoken than I am. And I feel like sometimes it can kind of be a lot. So Aniela's like, well, you could speak up then. And he's like, I'm doing that. That had me laughing. I was like, he is, though. He is definitely speaking up. He explains that in the pods, he felt seen and heard in a different way. And Aniela's like, well, I don't know, because I feel like when we're talking, you tend to be in your head a lot. You're looking into space. You're just looking around. I did point out he always got that starstruck look on his face, child. He do have that look. He's like, I don't know. Sometimes I just wonder if you know who I even am. And I'm like, well, you need to help her. You need to help her. And he's wondering if they can develop a deep enough connection to get married. Hey, I had eBay on the sticky tab, unfortunately, because the thing is, I feel like eBay has a very, very strenuous lifestyle as a surgeon. And I can imagine that when he's out of work, he's powered off. This man is powered off. That's why, he just staring into space when you guys talk. I think that Aniela is going to need a lot more energy and she's going to have to pull a lot out of him. And I feel like he's a lot more like, well, I don't know, like, I'm just vibing. I just feel like it's not gonna match up in terms of the maybe social and emotional needs that they both need, really. So Aaron and Angelica, they are on a boat and they're talking about how things are going. And Angelica shares that she cares a lot about what people think. And he's like, oh.
Vad folk ska tycka lite. Jag vet inte.
But like, I'm sure your close friends at least would understand this whole process, right? And they probably want the best for you. And she's like, I don't really know, but it's definitely going to impact my decision what the people around me think. I get it to an extent. I do think that, yes, your friends and family's input to some level, especially because I'm assuming the big thing he's worried about is that he's not stable. And I feel like people in her life will probably be honest, like, girl, what are you doing? What are you putting yourself in? But at the same time, of course, you should also make your own decisions. I think TBD, but I wonder if, maybe she'll be prioritizing pleasing her friends and family more than she'll focus on actually investing into building the relationship. We will have to see. Joanna and Daniel. So Joanna still does not feel like the conversation about their communication has been fixed. Like, she feels like there's more to talk about. And he's like, yeah, I know, but you shouldn't look behind you. You should only look forward. They go on this whole thing about rear view mirrors and this whole analogy. But essentially, she's like, well, I feel like we need to finish talking about the thing that actually happened and resolve it. And he's just kind of like, no, let's move forward. She explains yet again that it is hard for her when she's getting to know somebody and she doesn't really get that same energy. And he's like, but I feel like I've learned a lot about you in these few weeks. And then he changes the subject onto the dice on the table. And I'm like, girl, he's not going to give you more than this. He's not going to give you more than this. I see the frustration. You should too. Ime and Aniela. So they are talking and she expresses that she felt kind of bad after their conversation yesterday. And he was like, oh, I did not intend at all for it to go that way. For her, it was just shocking for them to, I guess, talk about doubts concerning getting married. And overall, they both just hope that the other one can be open about their feelings if they have any. Ime does reassure her that he feels great after the conversation and that it's full steam ahead for him. He feels good. So for now, they make up. And we have another shindig. So the girls are talking. We find out from Aniela that things are going fantastic. For Joanna, she feels a little bit stunted when it comes to their communication. Rania talks about how Lars is good looking. He's a great guy, but she still needs to figure some things out. Over at the guys chat, Ime is letting the girls know about everything, or the guys, know everything that happened with their conversation. And he was really worried at first that maybe it was just a feeling and that he wasn't really as in love as he thought he was. But when she validated him and said, hey, come as you are. I want to see you, the good, the bad, the ugly. That did make him feel really reassured. Lars talks about how Rania is very hot and cold and he does not really know what to do, then discusses the whole 7-day ultimatum. Daniel tries to relate to Lars and it's like, look, I mean, for us, me and Joanna, communication was lacking and she expressed that to me multiple times and I basically had to tell her, help me, help me do this. I have never expressed my feelings like this before. And I'm like, I'm so sick and tired of especially guys saying that. What? She's not even asking you to talk about feelings. She's asking you to be interested in a conversation that is not a conversation that you are leading. She's asking you to be interested in her. So what you're really saying is, I have no idea how to ask other people questions. I only know how to talk about myself. Overall, Daniel claims that he tries to validate Joanna, but it's not enough. So Ibe's like, have you guys talked about love languages? Do you know how she likes to feel loved? This man is like, what is a love language? That man has never heard that term until today, apparently. Aaron shares that Angelica was open about the fact that she cares a lot about what people think about her. And so he's real concerned now about what if they judge him for not having a car, What if they judge you for not having a stable job? So now he's really, really worried about where things will go. So everyone starts to realize that Ludwig and Camilla are not here.
Där kommer de.
And finally, they pull up very, very late. They are in the elevator like, okay, let's go. Here goes nothing. And they immediately break off into the girls and the guys group. So the guys are like, what's going on? What's happening? Ludwig starts to talk and he's like, I mean, and he gets very emotional. He starts to cry.
Ja men för fan, sluta man. Vad är det nu då? Hörru.
He claims that it has been wonderful in many ways, but unfortunately she has been not showing the validation on the physical, so he broke it off. And everybody, and myself, they were all like, huh? The guys were like, are you sure? Daniel's like, listen, I had to bring it up with Joanna that I'm always the one that initiates hugs and things like that. But, we've been able to slowly work through it. So have you actually even given her a chance to work on things? The guys proceed to ask him, do you guys have anything else outside of the physical? Are you sure this is what you want? And again, yes. I'm sorry, Ludwig's obsession with the physical is weird. It's creepy. Because what else do you have? No shade, but you're telling this girl, get physical with me, get physical with me. What about building a bond with somebody? And then you had a conversation with her and broke up with her the next day. It's weird. Camilla's talking with the girls. She's very emotional. So she actually pulls aside Aniela and she's like, honestly, I thought things were going very, very well.
Då alla tänker, det här, jag tycker inte om det och det. Jag bryter. Exakt.
But he expressed to me that the physical was not really there. She had expressed that naturally she was not a physical person, but Ludwig didn't even give her a chance to try. Daniel pulls aside Joanna And he's like, dude, I'm so upset. Like, why would he just give up like that? The fact that he just quit is crazy. And I mean, I get it. I agree. Because it's giving that you didn't like her. It's giving that on the outset, you really didn't like her and you were hoping that the physical was going to bring you there. But because she didn't give you that, you have no interest in getting to know her. AKA, you don't really feel like you like her like that. That's what it's giving. You thought she was going to be way more all over you and way more obsessed. And as I've said 5,000 times in this video, you chose her because you thought she was the one that was going to be obsessed with you with no pushback. And now you look like a clown. Lars pulls aside Ludwig and he's like, you know, I'm going through something kind of similar with Rania, but like, I don't know, did you guys ever hug or kiss? And it sounded like he implied that they did do a little bit, but I guess just not to the level that he thought it was. So he talks about, again, how he talked to Camilla about if she's uncomfortable with him initiating, yada, 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 whatever. Lars goes into how he was given an ultimatum and Ludwig is like, that's weird, which I agree. It is weird. So Aniela, eBay, Rania, and Daniel, they're all talking, and Aniela's like, it's just so premature to break things up over a week and a half. Like, it's just kind of bizarre to not even give things a chance. So Rania gets onto how Rania gave an ultimatum because, you know, everybody's talking. So it gets back that Rania also gave a 1-week ultimatum. And eBay straight up is like, I mean, I'm not going to lie. That would stress me out way more. I'd be thinking about that all the time to the point where things aren't natural anymore. And again, Rania, be like Ludwig and just break it off. Yes, these people are breaking it off prematurely, but if you really know in your heart of hearts that you can't get there, then just leave. Just leave. Rania claims again that it's her issue because she shuts down and she doesn't understand why she's holding herself back from getting to know this wonderful guy because you don't have a spark for him. We hear this all the time on Love is Blind. On paper, this person is great, but why don't I want to get to know them? Because the spark's not there. Because we already know that just being great on paper does not guarantee a spark. And if the spark's not there, then you're not going to have your heart in it. Oh my goodness, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. So Daniel's telling Aniela that, like, he's all in on Joanna. He wants to get to know her deeper. He's ready to move in. But just all this stuff about talking about feelings is really hard for him. And Aniela's like, well, it's not just about talking about your, like, emotions and stuff. It's like, just be honest about everything, really. Just be willing to talk to her. All she wants to know is to get to know you deeper. It's not an interrogation, a therapy session. So eBay is encouraging Camilla to talk to Ludwig if she feels like there's anything still there. What can it hurt? Meanwhile, Ludwig is talking to Rania, who's like, well, I'm kind of in a similar space with Lars Erik, and just, I gave him that ultimatum, you know. Now Rania's talking about but I realize it's an experiment and I have to try. Yeah, girl, because you hear the way that everyone's dragging him. Now you feel like you gotta try harder. Girl, Rania getting on my nerves, child. I ain't gonna hold you. Ludwig is like, yeah, I get that, but even if she had said to me, I want to try, but it's really hard, that would have made a difference. I'm like, she did. She did. She told you multiple times that it is hard for her, that it's not natural for her to be like this. She did tell you that. Ludwig, stop playing. You just don't want her. You just don't want her. You thought she was going to validate your ego more than she actually does. So Camilla does pull Ludwig aside. And I'm like, girl, don't ever, listen, I don't like the way that they were begging her to go talk to him. Don't beg for a man. If a man wants to leave you, let him leave you.
Jag fattar att det fysiska är viktigt.
Because as soon as something goes wrong, he'll be out that door again. But anyway, Camilla's like, listen, I understand that the physical is really important to you, but I feel like the decision we made was very premature. I don't want to quit. And upon talking to everybody else, talking to some of the other couples, I realized that they are also having struggles as well. She's like, look, Joanna and Daniel, they are not even nearly as far as we have come. And he's like, why am I supposed to believe that? Do you think that just because somebody says that to you, that it's true? Am I supposed to change my whole what I need because of somebody else? I'm like, okay, Ludwig. Okay. She's like, yeah, I hear you, but this is an experiment and we should at least give it a shot. And he's like, so do you want me to explain again why I feel the way I feel? And she's like, you know what? No, I actually don't. I'm gonna be real with you. I just wanted to let you know that I still want to give it a shot, but clearly this is not going anywhere. And they walk away. I'm like, Ludwig, sassy as heck. That's where we end off, y'all. If you made it to this point in the video, that means you liked the video. So I would greatly appreciate if you would consider supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Please hype the videos if you have hypes left. We will now be back on track with individual reviews moving forward for the next 6 episodes or whatever. So thank you guys so much for bearing with me. If you actually made it to this point, thank you, because I know this is a long one. And I will talk to you guys in my next one. Bye.